Hello, how are you? It is Tuesday. It's the 21st of December 2021. This is your noonday snack. I'm with you for the rest of the week now. It's good to be with you for a whole week on a different snack rather than the 8 a.m s. That's usually the only one I can do the whole week of. So it's nice to be with you for a whole week. Perhaps a week and a half, probably. I think I'm with you all next week as well. Try and think of what my day's looking like. No, there's a day when I'm not with you next week, or might be a couple of days when I'm not with you next week. But anyway, I'm rambling. Welcome. Pop us commenting if you're in catching up in a mood. Let us know you've caught up. Just think, one of these days I could be talking to you, and you could be doing catch up on Christmas Day. It's not that far now, is it? Anyway, I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to pop across say hello to people as they come on live. So, Ken Green, good morning to you. Welcome along. This is our noonday snack. Hard to find me, but I'm here. I'm like a bad smell. I'm always there somewhere, just around. Just kind of hunted out. Where's that coming from? Hello, George. How are you? Good to have you with us. Vivian, I can see you're with us as well. Good to have you along. Say hello to go on board, folks. Let me know you're here. This is our noonday snack. Have you bought a chair? Have you bought a tin? I'm trying to think if I've bought a tin. No. I need to go and get myself a tin. So I'll ask the magic fairy if she can bring me a tin in a minute. Maddie Stranger, good morning to you. Welcome along. This is our noonday snack. Can you bring me oh, there you go. Look, the magic fairy is going to appear. Look, it's like Christmas. Look, poof, a tin. There we go. Thank you, darling. Thanks, Kay. Pat Haynes, good morning to you. Good morning to Vivian as well, who's joining us on this Tuesday. 21st of December 2021. It is our noonday snack. So it is our first opportunity gone, second opportunity here, third opportunity coming, adding those extra minutes of movement into our day. Right. A couple of minutes later than I wanted to be today, because I thought I'll just water the Christmas tree before I do it. Got plenty of time. That was at 10 to. And then after I watered the Christmas tree, and then my fingers were all sticky from the sap. So, because I had to feel whether the water was going into the thing, and I obviously touched the bottom of it, and it was, sticky. So I have to wash my hands about 3 or 4 times to try and get the sticky off. But there we go. Enough of my problems, enough of my dilemmas. Let me know when it is 12 o'clock, folks, because I haven't got my time up on this new fangled Facebook change they've made to the live bit. I can't see the time anymore. So I do apologise. Let me know when we're at our 3-2-1 situation, and I will 3-2-1-ish for you as well. So it is 21st December. Friends who are heading off to France, friend who's from France, who's heading off home today to spend some time with his family. Fingers crossed he gets there okay and safely. Nothing changes today, which means he can't go. 8 o'clock flight he's got out of Gatwick, so we'll hopefully everything will be all right there. Right, okay. Here we go. We are ready for our 3-2-1. Thank you, George. Let's swipe those comments to the right, and they are gone. 3-2-1, yeah? 3-2-1. Ow! Good afternoon, everybody. You're with Dave Montgomery from Later Life Training. Today is Tuesday. It's the 21st of December 2021. This is our noonday snack. I nearly went to say 8 a.m. then. Noonday snack opportunity number 2 to add those additional movement minutes into our day. Now, I said, bring a chair. And I said, bring a tin or a weight, didn't I? So hopefully you got those to hand. The Magic Fairy delivered my tin a minute ago. Vegetable soup. That's lunch afterwards. Right, so let's get ourselves in. Let me just pop my tin down there out of the way. Standing or seated, this is the first decision we need to make. If we are in standing, we've got some fixed external support available to us. If we're in seated, then we've got a strong, sturdy chair. And remember, I did ask you to bring a chair with you. So one of the moves we're going to do is in a seated position. So make sure you've got a good, sturdy chair. Right. Nothing on the floor is going to cause us any issues. And if you want to have a look at the movements first, then please do. Have a look. You can always play it back straight afterwards. The great thing about this is as soon as we finish, about 30 seconds later, that snack is there, ready for you to watch on Facebook. So you can always go and have a look at it again and decide how you want to do the move, okay? Before we do anything, though, we need to have a look at our posture. Now, in standing, we've got our heels in line with our knees in line with the hips, lifted out from the hips to grow a bit taller, shoulders up, back and down. It's exactly the same in seated, but what we need to do to start off with is bring our back away from the chair. So I'm going to turn the chair on sideways a bit more, actually, today, because one of the moves will need that. So we bring the back away from the chair. So we're doing the sport. It's that lift and shift to hip walk into the front third of the chair. And here the sitting bones stay firmly on the seat as our feet stay firmly on the floor. Everything is lifted and lengthened, and we start with our circulation boosting. So bringing the heels off the floor, lifting up onto the balls of the feet means we get some clearance of those heels away from the floor. It means we start to get some movement into our heels, into our ankles, sorry, to get some mobility happening down there as well. From here, we can make the movement bigger, taking it into a march. Now remember, it's not a huge movement. We're not talking about knees right up. We're talking about just getting the feet elevated away from the floor a little bit. Just enough to give us a chance to point those toes down even further. And remember that in seated, if we feel any discomfort, any tiredness or fatigue into our hip flexors, we can come back into this heel raise or a toe tap diagonally. Adding an arm in, we drive the elbow backwards. Now, I know I say this all the time, but have the elbow roughly 90 degrees. What you don't want is this swinging type motion, that sort of uncontrolled and swinging, yeah? Make it a driven, make it a controlled movement. Now, seated wise and standing, if you're not using support, we can just change hands to the other side. If we are using support, however, we need to think about it. So in front, we pop the hand down, we bring the other hand off, and away we go. If it's to the side, we need to do a turn. So, what we do, lose the arm, make the march a little bit smaller again, start to turn in towards your support till you're facing the other way, and then you can bring it off. And while you're turning, you've got both hands on that support. Now finally, seated, standing, if you feel steady, stable and ready, let's put both arms, both legs together so we've got this bigger movement happening. And that's what our circulation boosting is all about, isn't it? Increasing the movements, making them bigger, not faster, to ask more of the body, to make us breathe a little bit harder, to make our heart beat a little bit faster, because that's what we want. We want the heart to beat a little bit faster so we get the oxygen around the body, we get our body mobilised and ready to take on whatever it is we're going to do. So if you've been sat down for a while, have a little circulation booster. Right, 2 minutes, 3 max is what we're looking at as far as this is concerned. And then we can start to bring it down to these smaller movements, perhaps lose the arms, back into a pedal and bring it to a pause. At which point, a couple of deep breaths is what we're going to be looking for. Right, okay, let's move into our first movement then. And this is where we want that tin or a weight. Remember I said you could bring a weight or a tin. So I've got a tin with me because the weights that I use are all plates, so a bit of a different holding. I don't use hand weights. So I brought a tin with me. Now the movement is a weighted trunk twist, but we're going to brace our back as well at the same time. So standing tall, we've got those hips locked, we've got this trunk twist, and we're going to take the weight around and extend it around a little bit further, right? So that is your movement, but the back stays nice and braced. So here we are, sitting. We've got the tin, all the weight here. We start that trunk rotation to get the mobility part of it that we would do in the morning, and then we're going to take it a little bit further and try and reach as far around as we can. Going back into the centre, have a little pause, change your weight to the other side, start your rotation and then take it that bit further and reach around, keeping this back nice and straight, just rotating from our hips. Now seated, we can feel whether we've got movement in our hips, can't we? Because we can feel if the bottom is staying on the chair. Is it making contact the whole time? If it is, everything is happening into the mid-region, which is what we want. So as for the same as we do in the morning, if you want to use your support as a reference point, so place your bottom against it or place your hips against it, and then as you do that movement, you'll either get a lift of the hip off the front or you get a lift of the bottom off from the back if your hips are moving. Try and avoid that movement. Now this is about reaching across. Our mobilisation is about reaching across, isn't it? By adding the weight in, we're just taking that a little bit further and we're working a bit on our strength as far as this is concerned. We've got strength into the arms and the shoulders because we're holding this weight. And if you want to work a little bit harder, you can take the weight away from you so you've got a bigger weight because we've got it further away from the body. So we're adding more resistance into it. We haven't got it close in. We're taking it away. The shoulders having to work a little bit harder to keep that weight where it is. Remember, ideally around about chest height, but if it's down here for you, that's fine. You go where is right for you, but we take it that little bit further and we get that rotation. Listen to your back, however. We don't want any pain in our back, unless we have pain all the time, in which case, no increased pain, no new pain. All right, from there, let's bring ourselves into a seated position for our movement number 2. So, a seated position, if we're coming from standing, we feel the chair behind us. Lower with control, no plonkers, okay? So lower down with control into that chair. Sit yourself down, have a little rest. Bring the back away from the chair. Hip walk into the front third of the chair. Now we're going to do something called a reverse mountain climber. So, a mountain climber is about bringing the knees up towards the chest. That motion there. But, to add into it as well, normally we would do this in the front position, leaning into something and trying to keep that back straight. So what we're going to do here is we're going to keep the back straight. We're going to hinge backwards a little bit towards the back of the chair. Not a great deal. Extend our legs away so we've got a straightish line down from head to toes. If we were to draw a line from our head to toes, it would be straight. I know we're coming in here, yeah? And then the movement is to bring the knee up and down, up and down. And all we're doing is bending that knee and bringing it up. So we'll feel it into our hips. We're trying to keep this body straight. And if you need to put your hands at the back there to support yourself, do. This is working into our lower abdominals. So it's about here we're working. We're using those abdominals to keep ourselves in a straight position. So if we need to, let's pop our hands on the back to support ourselves. However, what you do want to try and avoid is putting your back onto that chair. Don't go too far back. It's just a hinge, slight hinge from our hip. Back is straight. We're not leaning right back, so don't put any pressure onto your lower back. You shouldn't feel it into your lower back. From here, we're just sitting back a little bit. So we're just creating a little bit of space here for the knees to come up a bit further. And because the legs are straightened, we get that bigger movement happening. So you're pointing the toes down at the floor again. Your toes are going to be the first thing to touch the floor as you go back down, and the last thing to leave as you bring it back up. There you go. So you're going to feel this into your thighs because of the strength of picking the leg up, but we're also working into our lower abdominals because of this seated position and controlling ourselves here. So as I say, if you need to use your hands, use your hands. If you need to do a few, switch off, switch off. If you can only do a few, that's fine. If you need to sit a bit more upright, then the same movement can be achieved. Yeah, it's not going to be as effective into our lower abdominals because we haven't got that backward motion, but we're going to feel it into our legs still. All right, so that is our second movement. And then our third movement is about balance. So we do a lot of our tandem stand. Now in seated, remember we do our tandem stand by putting the toes into the instep of the other foot. So we have that sort of position there. In standing, then our tandem stand is one foot in front of the other. Now, if we're using support, hand onto it, and I want you to take your support to the side. So if your support is in front, turn yourself to the side. The hand that is furthest away from that support is going to do circles. So we're going to make this as big a movement as we can. And with these circles, we're going to take them backwards here. So it's this backward motion around. Okay? And we've got this tandem stand at the same time. So support to the side if you need it. In seated, to challenge ourselves a little bit balance-wise, we put that position in there. We take a little hip hinge to come forward, and you've got that circular motion. Remembering that it could be as big or as small as you want. It could be down here, more of a shoulder roll than a full arm. That's the first level, okay? If you feel steady and stable with it, then we can take it a stage further. And by taking it a stage further, we line those feet up. Remember the toes and the heel close together, but not touching. Yeah. Shift your weight evenly across. This is for both standing and seated, whether you're using support or not. Shift your weight evenly across both feet. So your knees are softened and you get that challenge into your balance there. Right. We've got the one arm that's going back, and then we can add the other arm into it as well. So we get this motion here that then starts to challenge our balance a little bit more. Remembering all of the time that we can put our hand down, or we can step out at any point in time, or we can stop those hands. Yeah? So likewise in seated, if you feel comfortable with it, set yourself in, hinge forward, and we take it around. I was going to do one hand one way and one the other then. Blimey. Ooh, I've knocked my tree. So big movement there. And you can see that we get a movement in the upper body at the same time. Because we've got those arms switching from side to side, we start to get this bit of movement in the upper body as well, which then starts to challenge us a little bit more balance-wise. Yeah. Now, if we wanted to challenge ourselves cognitively as well, I haven't practiced this, so let's see, this could go terribly wrong for me. We could try and do one hand one way. So we're going to take this hand backwards, and we're going to take this hand forward. So we've now got a different motion happening, which again is challenging our balance. And again, it could be these smaller movements. So it could be this movement here, where you've got this different action happening, and that's making the top of the body shift its weight from side to side, and that's what's giving us that extra balance challenge. Remembering at all times though, if you feel unsteady there, you can step out, you can put your hand down, or if you want to, you can use the sport totally and just challenge yourself a little bit more. Focus on a point in the distance, keep an eye on that as you do that movement around, just to challenge yourself a little bit more. There we go, that is our lunchtime snack for today, this Tuesday. I'll be back with you tomorrow at noon. I'll see you then. I promise not to water my tree just before I come on, so I've not got my sticky fingers. And I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. Keep mobile, keep crowbarring. Go back and have a look at those moves if you want, see if you want to change them in any way, or you want to give them a go. Keep crowbarring additional movements in though, and I'll see you tomorrow at 12. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.